President of the United States has offered to deport you. Russell Vought, Trump's budget chief, recently canceled an $8 billion infrastructure project here. 18, forgive me. And that's, I think, just for practice, that you can expect, as mayor, a really full assault from Washington. What can you do about that?
I think that will be an inevitability. We have to treat it as such, as opposed to something that's simply just possible. This is an administration that looks at the flourishing of city life, wherever it may be across this country, as a threat to their entire political agenda. And part of that is because it is an illustration of everything that they claim to be fighting against, and the ways in which this city should and could be the model of an alternative to a Trump-style politics. But part of the issue is that for too long we've been the answer as to how we got Donald Trump as the president.
But how do you stand up to him? What are the mechanisms and means to do so?
Too often we treat Donald Trump's pronouncements as if they are law simply by virtue of the fact that they come from his mouth, when in fact what we are often discussing are the most obvious overreaches and illegalities that we've seen in modern politics.
Granted, but he does have the means, to quote a former president, to fuck you up.
He does, but part of the ways in which that you actually stop that is that you're willing to fight that.
I just got laid off from my job at CBS, and every producer on my team who got laid off is a person of color. Every person who gets to stay and will be relocated within the company is a white person. Now, in my meeting with the executive who told me I was getting laid off, I specifically asked him if it was a consideration for us to be relocated somewhere else within the company, and he said that we advocated to keep the show. We advocated to try to get you relocated somewhere, and we couldn't. Because I asked him, why are you the person who is making this decision or delivering the news that we're being laid off? And he said, oh, it could have been anyone. Only to later find out, because it wasn't until I went downstairs thinking that me and all of my colleagues had been laid off, that I found out that it was only the people of color. So I went one by one to my white colleagues. Are you getting laid off? No. 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 So I went back up to his office and I told him, I think you lied to my face. And come to find out, it was not his decision to eliminate the show that I worked for. But he did get to decide who got to stay. I told him, you said that you couldn't get us relocated, only to find out that you were able to get some people relocated, and they all happen to be white. Am I supposed to believe that that's a coincidence? And he said, yes. I'm supposed to believe that's a coincidence. I said, do you believe that's a coincidence? He said, I do, because I chose to keep the people who I had worked with before. So mind you, not only is it not based on merit, it is in its result racist. I don't care if you decided to keep people who had purple colored hair. You deciding to keep people who you had worked with before, which don't even know if that's true. If the outcome of that decision is racist, the action was racist, that shit is fucked.
We have major legal news as today, Trump's Border Patrol Commander-at-Large, Greg Bovino, was ordered to appear in person in federal court to explain his violent conduct in Chicago. U.S. District Judge Sarah Ellis ordered him to appear in person after disturbing reports of him deploying tear gas against children in a Halloween parade emerged. So Judge Ellis put Bovino on a witness stand under oath and grilled him about his apparent violations of her temporary restraining order, which prohibited him from using riot control tactics on peaceful assemblies. Bovino appeared with a squad of masked armed men, apparently to try to intimidate the judge, but it didn't work. She went through the TRO line by line and asked him what part of her order he didn't understand. In his defense, he claimed without proof that he had been attacked by protesters throwing rocks at his head, but there was an issue with that. Judge Ellis had ordered Bovino to equip his officers with identifying information and body cameras to record their activities, and when she asked where the footage footage of this alleged attack was, he claimed that, oh, his officers had body cameras, but he didn't. Judge Ellis was not amused and asked Bovino if he saw what the problem with that was. But most outrageous was video evidence that Bovino himself had deployed a tear gas canister into a crowd of children who were on their way to a Halloween parade. Judge Ellis admonished him, saying, kids dressed in Halloween costumes walking to a parade do not pose an immediate threat. Finally, Judge Ellis admonished Bovino and reminded him of his oath to the Constitution. She also ordered him to appear physically in court at 6 p.m. on every weekday between today and November 5th. The reason is obvious. Bovino is playing dumb, not following her orders, and lying about being attacked as a pretext for attacking unarmed civilians. Judge Ellis is not fooled. Now, you might be wondering, if these offenses are so harsh, why doesn't she just hold him in contempt or throw him in prison? It's too soon for that. She needs to build a body of evidence to show deliberate refusal to follow orders before she can impose harsh consequences like that. This is a developing situation. We can expect daily reports as Bovino is hauled into court to explain himself. If you want to stay in the loop, you can follow for more.
Trump's DHS caught manipulating videos to create the false impression that there are violent hotspots in the certain places that they want to deploy. The Washington Post reporting on this problem. They've been busted, including the government. Remember, this is your government. They are answerable to you. This is still a country we have here. And they're using your tax dollars to try to mislead or lie to you about where they're putting troops and what the reasons are. So they have this sort of gussed up footage that is months old, so it doesn't show why the troops would be there right now, or from thousands of miles away. Here's a photograph from Nantucket, Massachusetts, but DHS claimed it was D.C. as the reason for why they have troops in D.C. Here's an image from international waters. Okay, so you have this problem, say, this kind of migration on a boat somewhere, but the DHS falsely claimed it was New York City in order to justify the local patrolling they're doing. Here's a scene from Texas, which again happens to be a red state, but Trump's DHS claims that this action going down here, they need help, got to deal with this, yada, yada. They claim it was Chicago. Imagine that. You want to argue that these places are just teeming with crime or immigrants or whatever the problem may be. Sometimes it's ICE agents, so you need an immigrant angle if you're the government. Sometimes it's just general unrest because you want to put some Marines there. And you say it's just out of control. And that's why obviously you need to put the people there. And sooner or later this will be tested in court where you're saying, oh my God, it's out of control there. And you can't even find enough photographs or videos to fill a short presentation. The fact that they're caught faking this evidence reinforces apparently how hard it is for them to find the actual real evidence of their claimed unrest.
This is how it's been at every stop on the trip. Trump arrives, they throw a big party for him, then they immediately try to buy his affection with gifts. So South Korea, what do you got?
Korean President Lee lavishing Trump with gifts, including a replica of a golden crown.
We present this old crown to you on this joyous occasion of your state visit to Gyeongju.
Thank you very much, everybody. Appreciate it.
Wow, a golden crown. What a lovely, thoughtful gift for our president. South Korea, can I just talk to you over here real quick? Hey, South Korea, what the are you doing? Seriously. All right, we have been trying real hard over here to gently steer our president away from the whole king thing. And then you come along, oh, hey, President Trump, check out this cool crown. Try it on. Take it home with you. Not helping. Please, just give them a sack of money like a normal country and stop up our shit.